Greetings, friends and family. Sorry I've kept you waiting so long for a video. I've been very busy, as you've all noticed, I'm sure. LOL. Oh, I gotta stop doing that. That's terrible. Anyway, I want to talk today about why I'm here. What made me come here to this point in my life, doing the things I'm doing, posting these things on Facebook, talking to the individuals that I do about the things that I do. Many of you have talked to me individually, and we've had some quite interesting discussions. But some of the things I'm going to say here, I have never said to anyone other than a handful of people in my lifetime. Okay, I'm going to start out when I was really little, before kindergarten. So I was under the age of 5. I was in the living room that I grew up in, and it seemed like the room was lighter than usual. And this realization came to me that something very important was going to happen in my lifetime, and I was going to play a very important part in it. I had a big job to do, and it was important for me to participate in this. And I never thought much of it, I mean, why would a 5-year-old think anything about a thought like that, right? And off and on throughout my lifetime, I've noticed that I have just known things for no reason. I can't explain anyway, no reason I can explain. These thoughts will come to me. Somebody will say something, and I'll come up with an answer. I have no idea where the information come from, but I find out that more often than not, I'm right. I don't know if you want to say that that's psychic or not. It's just what happens. I don't label things for myself. I don't even like talking about it, obviously. For examples of things that happened, as a teenager, one night I was just messing around and I was thinking about this guy's name that I had been seeing, and I thought, I'm going to see if I can send him a message. And I kept thinking his name over and over and over again. And the next day I called him, and I didn't mention it. I just asked him how he was doing. And he said the weirdest thing happened to him the night before. He kept hearing somebody calling his name, and he looked out his bedroom door and up and down the hall, and he couldn't find anybody. Okay, so that was kind of fun. But now for a less fun example. A couple of years after I was married, my grandmother-in-law, who I had been taking care of, had become quite ill and was in the hospital. She was an older woman, and we probably didn't expect that she was going to make it. But that evening, her 3 sons, who had previously been estranged due to a silly argument for several years, all came together in her hospital room, and they talked together and everything, and it was a pretty good evening. And we drove home that night, and shortly after we got home, the guys went to bed. My father-in-law, he decided to go to bed, and my husband said he was going to go to bed too. And all of a sudden, I just decided that I had to go back to the hospital. And my husband said, okay, and I went, and I got there, and I went in through the emergency room exit and told them who I was and who I was there to check on. And they informed me that she had passed away 16 seconds before I got there. Okay, let me backtrack a little bit further. To about a year and a half before that, my husband and I, before we got married, were living in an apartment. Yes, I was living in sin. Anyway, one day I was walking around the apartment in my bare feet, as I often do, or did back then, and I looked down because my feet felt funny, and the tops of my feet were bleeding. I had not injured myself. There's no explanation for it. And I think I've only told maybe 3 or 4 other people in my entire life before today. As a small child, I was taken to church a lot. I didn't really make a connection in the church spiritually, but during summer Bible school, a woman named Mrs. Simonelli asked me if I wanted to take Jesus into my heart. And I had heard the stories and everything, and I thought that this would be a good idea. And I felt something too. It wasn't just a thought. And I did this. And it was a very amazing experience. It kind of triggered my spiritual awakening, I guess you'd say. It made me realize I was a spiritual being. Okay, let's see. Saying that, I want to go on and mention a little bit about the difference between spirituality and organized religion. Okay, religion may have started out with somebody having a good idea of sharing their spirituality with others so they could learn to be more spiritual and get more in touch with their higher selves as well. But somewhere along the line, it became more about power and greed, control mostly. Maybe the people who ended up altering it away from it being spiritual had good intentions. I cannot say for sure. I'm not going to blame anybody for anything, but I am going to say that spirituality is a relationship that you have with your creator and the universe and everything in it. Religion is something that tries to tell you how to feel about your spirituality, and I don't agree with that. Okay. That being said, I am an ordained minister. I am also an ordained high priestess. Make of that whatever you will. I don't put labels on myself. I did get the ordained minister thing mostly because I wanted to be able to help people who wanted to be legally married but could not find someone who would do so in the manner that they felt comfortable with. And the high priestessship was bestowed upon me by someone else, organization. Anyways, as I say, I didn't ask to be a high priestess, but they made me high priestess of philosophy because they say that that's who I am. That was another catalyst that led me to where I am today. Like I say, I don't follow any particular religion. I have my own ideas about my creator, and I think that's how it should be for everyone. That's why I don't argue with people about religion being right or wrong. I do argue about the fact that it has not, in this day and age, it is not giving the people what it was intended to give, and it has become bastardized and dangerous. But personal religious beliefs, I think, are fine. You know, whichever cultural god or whatever you want to call the name of your creator, that's your business. I've done a lot of studying theology and different religions, and if you really look into these differences in depth, there's more likenesses than there are differences. They're all the same story. They're just interpreted differently. Some of the organized religions have worked very hard to make us think that we're different from each other, and we're not. We're all the same, really. We're different in nice ways that can be appealing to each other, but in the basic ways that are important, we are all exactly the same. Okay, I got a little bit sidetracked there. Not too far, though, because that was on my list. See, I have a list. I don't know if you can see it. Anyway, let's see, where were we? All right, back to why I'm here. I believe that before we are born, we make choices. And because of those choices, I came back here to help others awaken, to become a higher and more advanced spiritual being than what we're living at right now. In doing so, I put myself in a lifetime where I went through a lot of abuse and trauma, especially as a small child. And it shaped me, but it made me very strong and individual. And I can understand a lot because I've been through a lot. There aren't many things that you can tell me and I can say, I truly have not one clue how that feels. Besides being abused as a small child, not by my parents, not by my brothers. I'm not going to say any more about it. I'm not going to go into details. It's all you need to know is it happened. And when I got into school, I was bullied by other kids for being different. I was adopted. I was born to a young teenage mother who was allowed to keep me for about 18 months, but she got pregnant again. And then they took me and my baby sister from her and placed me with the family that raised me. And this was pretty much common knowledge because, like I said, I was 18 months old. And the foster family that I lived with before that was in the neighborhood as well. So there weren't a lot of secrets. And I got picked on a lot. As I got older, it got more physical. And when I tried to explain that I did not start it and I did not do anything to invite it, nobody believed me. So that was fairly traumatic. And I left home at the age of 13 and began to support myself with live-in babysitting jobs. I did get busted after 9 months and ended up having to go to juvenile detention, where the court ordered me to serve 45 days, while the guys on the other side of the unit in the boys' wing who stole cars were only sentenced to 2 weeks. How's that for fair? Anyways, when I was in school, I always got good grades. I just have a problem conforming. I don't handle authority well, especially when I know they're wrong, they're lying, or they give off some bad vibes of some sort, you know. It's weird, but that's how it is. Okay, I did self-medicate when I was younger. I should say for most of my life. I went through different addictions, alcohol, drugs. Got off of those things during the last decade. I got myself clean so that I could be here and do this. I obviously could not do this if I were still using. So I understand those aspects of life as well. I've been in abusive relationships as an adult. All of these things, I don't look on as that I'm a victim. I'm a survivor. And each and every one of these things that happened to me were a lesson. And we have to learn these lessons. The only time we fail at something is if we give up. Everything happens for a reason. I know I'm sounding like cliches sometimes, but it's true. Okay, but I think that the main reason I am here is to help people heal and awaken and help heal the earth as well. I've posted a lot of videos about a lot of different things, and one of them I want to mention right now is the power of thoughts and words and actions. These things are very, very powerful. People don't understand there is energy involved with each of these things. And if you have a positive thought, it does have a positive effect on the world around you. If you have a negative thought, it has a negative effect. And we really need to start monitoring how we're thinking and what we're talking about. Because if we lift the energy levels, the vibrations up to a higher frequency, things are going to improve for everyone everywhere, and we can begin to heal the planet. Okay, there's a lot of conspiracy theories and all kinds of talk about Illuminati and all these things. I believe that it's true. I believe the Illuminati is trying to impose a new world order. You can read about the details of the things that I talk about in the videos I post on my page. I don't very often talk about Illuminati anymore. They're becoming passe. They're obsolete. They're dying out. Goodbye, Illuminati. Okay, what's next on the list? Let's see. Oh, yes. I've heard people say that they don't like the things that are going on in the world, but that they can't do anything to change it, so they're just going to do nothing. Well, Mr. Burke, I think his name was, I've got it on a quote on my page, said, "The only thing evil needs to succeed is for good men to do nothing." And this is true. If you sit there and do nothing, the powers that are trying to control and enslave the world will just take over. But we're not going to let that happen. Like I said, thoughts and words and actions do create energy and change the world. We don't have to go out and do huge things to change the world. Each of us just needs to do a little bit, and we'll have it made, no problem. And we do have help. I was going to go into that more tonight, but it's getting a little bit long-winded here. I think I might save that for another day, but I will say that whether you want to call them aliens, spirits, or just entities of energy, I don't care what you call them, we do have allies unseen that are not physical beings on this planet that are helping. And you'll be seeing a lot more evidence of their existence in the very near future. There are many names for them. It depends on what you want to believe in. It's all a matter of perception. You know, like I was talking about religion, it's just the way things are explained in different words and different cultures and stuff. It's all perception. Now, I'd like to touch really quickly on mental health issues and vaccines and fluoride and things like these. Okay, the people trying to impose the New World Order have been putting chemicals into our food, preservatives, and all different kinds of things, which have been affecting our brains and making us dumber than we should be, okay? It has affected some people more than others. People who didn't have to have fluoride treatments as kids may have not been affected as badly because they were hammering us from all different angles, vaccines and all different kinds of things. It's almost impossible to get away from it. But I think that people who have been labeled as having mental illnesses, like depression and bipolar, different things like this, I think a lot of them really don't have any illnesses. They're showing symptoms of the spiritual reality and the chemicals that they've been pumping into our bodies. I think that as we get away from these things more, people will realize that this is true. I know a lot of people out there are saying, no, vaccines are all good, blah, blah, blah. You know, just if you don't believe it now, just wait, okay? You're going to find out that a lot of these things have been doing some serious damage to our children, starting back when we were children. I know I had vaccines. I know I was sent every summer for 6 weeks having these fluoride treatments where we chewed these highly concentrated fluoride tablets. So Anyways, besides that, the government is not there for our good either. They're just business people. I don't really want to go into government. I don't feel like going into politics tonight. LOL. I gotta stop doing that. Let's see. Perception. Okay. Now that we are starting to wake up, people are starting to eat better. They're avoiding different toxins and stuff. And no matter what these people did to poison our brains and shut down our third eye, I can never say pineal gland. Anyway, the things that they've been doing slowed us down for a while, but they were never going to stop us from waking up completely anyway. One of the things that I want to point on before I forget is breathing. People are not breathing right. Okay, look up videos on breathing. We're just walking around not thinking about how we're breathing. We need to take deep breaths and blow them out once in a while. Really blow your breath out once in a while. It's a cleansing thing. It gets more of the carbon dioxide out, which allows you to take more oxygen in the next time. And every time you do this, it helps you not only mentally and physically, but spiritually as well. It helps you get to your higher self. Try to avoid sugar, please. I don't think I need to explain that one. One of the reasons they've tried to keep us stupid is because ignorance often leads to fear, violence, hate, and apathy. When what we need is understanding, intelligence, knowledge, acceptance, empathy, and compassion. Did I miss anything? You know where I'm going with this. If we can just try to convince ourselves that we don't have to be downtrodden, we don't have to be depressed. Wake up in the morning, think a good thought, try to smile, even if you don't feel like it. Find some reason to be happy, find some reason to smile. It's all there inside you. It doesn't have to come from out there. Okay, there's more on that on my page too. LOL. Damn it, I gotta stop saying that. The reason I do that is because I use voice to text, because I do so much texting and posting and stuff that it would take me forever to do this on my phone if I were doing it manually. Okay, so I often go around saying LOL and looking like an idiot. Anyway, we did the breathing information and okay. Now, we have to live in the system in order to earn money to survive. Right now, we can't really avoid that, but we don't have to give up our power to them. We don't have to give them power by allowing them to make us feel like we're being defeated or anything else. When you let someone else make you feel any kind of way, you're giving them power over you. And it's the same way with government or anything, corporations, it's all the same thing. If you let them make you feel like you have to have that product, this is what commercialism does, makes you feel like you have to have that, then they have power over you. You don't have to have that. You have choices, okay? You don't have to have that product because that's the one that's the most popular. I think you know where I'm going with that. It's been almost a half an hour already, so I'm going to try to cut this off soon here. All right. Okay, I'm just going to read this note here. They're trying to block our ascension, our spiritual ascension, by keeping us too busy to love and care about each other. They're trying to make us so busy with the act of surviving that we cannot love and thrive. but we can break that chain, and we're doing that too. When they keep you so busy trying to survive that you're not loving your family and your friends and your community the way that we need to love each other, it's called a negative awakening. You're going to awaken no matter what, but if you keep up the negative thoughts and feelings, it's going to be a negative awakening. Whereas a positive awakening is going to help you ascend into a higher dimension, which I'm not going to even go into right now because that's really a long discussion too. But I think that pretty much does it. We have to work together. We have to survive together. We have to help heal the planet together. I know a lot of you are feeling the same way I am. Many of you have been having these thoughts and experiences all of your lives the same way I have. I'm also an empath, in case anybody didn't already know that. I can feel the pain of the earth. I feel the pain of the people around me. It's one of the reasons why I basically stay to myself. I don't socialize a lot. And also financially, I can't afford to. But even the animals, I do cat rescues with my partner, Wes. He's out there somewhere. He was going to leave, but he had to keep coming and going with things he had to get done. So anyway, hi, Wes. I think that pretty much does it for today. One of the reasons I didn't go live is because it's easier for me to just answer your questions in comment section afterwards instead of trying to get through this and answer your questions at the same time. Please feel free to ask me anything. If it's details about something that is more private, then please do that in PM. I may or may not give you the details depending on what it is and who you are, how close we are, and how I feel about it at the moment. Anyway, love and light and brightest blessings to all. You've all been a blessing to me, being friends and family in a spiritual way. It's been awesome. Let's keep rocking.